Everybody's like, Curtis, could you not cuss so much? Could you just tone it back?
Right. I mean,
And you know what I say to that?
And welcome back to another episode of Because Liberty, and I'm your host, Curtis Hart. And on today's episode, I'm going to be touching base with a few of you people about the Punisher Squad update. So, for those who don't know, Matthew Minthorn was arrested. He was charged with a felony count of communicating with a minor for immoral purposes over a electronic device. So, with that, gotta love the Daily News and their accurate reporting style. So, myself and the mother of the 8-year-old victim in this case both called the Daily News. I personally emailed Hyatt Norman. I think in Normany? No, I'm not sure. I personally emailed Hyatt. I know that the mother of the 8-year-old also called the Daily News just to tell them about this story, and they never got back to us, but they did report on the story. And the story that they reported on was not only not factually correct, like the gist of the story was correct, but like the actual facts that they were reporting on just weren't accurate. One of the main things that bothered me, though, about the Daily News article when it was originally put out, and I'm glad that we decided to call and give them a piece of our mind, they identified the victim. Not the 8-year-old victim, but there's another victim. They identified her, with some of the words that they used to describe who the person was. I shouldn't happen to be telling the Daily News, me, Curtis Hart, never been to journalism school, none of that. I should not be having to tell you guys, what's couth and what's not in the world of journalism. I mean, when Curtis Hart is having to tell you about ethics in journalism, what to do and what not to do, especially when it's, identifying victims of sexual molestation. Way to go, Daily News. Gosh, such class right there. When we called the Daily News to tell them about their inaccuracies, I was literally told by one of the people that they weren't interested in talking to me, that I was a piece of trash, and that he didn't want to talk to me. And then he hung up the phone on me. I simply wanted them to get their reporting accurate, and correct, factual. So let me go over what they reported really quickly, and I'll just tell you what was wrong with it. So, you can find this on the Daily News. Don't even look the article up because it's a waste of time. It's just not factually correct. Now, for some reason, they stuck two unrelated cases in the same article. I think basically because the people were charged with the same thing or similar things. So it says, in February, the mother of an 8-year-old girl reported that Minthorn was communicating with her daughter. That part's correct. The mother and Curtis Hart communicated with Minthorn through a new Facebook profile, posing as a 10-year-old girl, according to probable cause statement. Now, they changed that. That is not what they originally said when posting this article. So, I will really quickly bring up what the article actually originally said. So, originally, it said, Vigilante Curtis Hart created a fake Facebook profile and communicated with Minthorn posing as a 10-year-old girl, according to the probable cause statement. Now, they're sticking with this 10-year-old girl. Sorry, guys, that's not accurate. You guys made a mistake. If you guys got some 10-year-old girl in there was no 10-year-old girl. There was no made-up victim in this case. I did not make up any fake Facebook profiles for this at all. That's not a thing that I did. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read what they originally wrote here, because I'm going to tell you what they wrote down before I corrected them, minus the identifying remarks for the victim. Minthorn was identified through sexually explicit videos, the statement said. Minthorn was identified because he used his own freaking Facebook profile. He sent pictures of himself. He spent videos of himself. I mean, I suppose you can say they were identified through that. The main identifying factor was he used his own Facebook profile. Wasn't that hard to figure out? Like, okay. In the Facebook messages, Minthorn also discusses sexually assaulting, and I'm not going to go ahead and say what they originally wrote down here because that would be identifying a sexual assault victim. Way to go, guys. You guys did that. And you just seemed so callous when we told you. Well, hopefully he doesn't have... I'm not going to go ahead and say it right here because that would be identifying thing, and we had to be like, no, you know, that's not a thing. We had to, I can't say a lot because it would be identifying the victim, but, you know, the guy was super cool about their screw-up. God, guy was such a tool bag. It's so nice to know some dude that sounded like he was from New York or something is down there working at the Daily News, just being king, captain, douchebag, as far as I'm concerned. It says he was booked into the Cowles County Jail shortly after 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday. So shortly after 8:30 a.m. All right. Now I wonder what exactly counts as shortly after 8:30 in the morning, because he was booked. He wasn't even got picked up until like 2 p.m. All right, 2 p.m. is or something like that. 2 or 3, somewhere about there is when they went and got him. You know, they didn't even book him until like 6:30, 7:30 p.m. So again, you know, just more inaccuracy, just ridiculous. On February 17th, Detective Rob Stump took photos of Minthorn's house, which were consistent with the messages he sent to the minor, according to the statement, and he was booked in the Cowles County Jail on Tuesday afternoon. It was Tuesday evening. So they didn't mention how like the Cowles County Sheriff's Office just didn't go out and arrest this guy, even though they had the probable cause to do so for a long while. It was just sad how long it took. Really, it's quite disturbing. But you know, they've gone and arrested him. They took him to jail. He spent the night in jail. I'm sure that was great for him. And then they let him go the next day on his own personal recognizance. So that's excellent. That's that seems right. So it is what it is. But I just gotta love the Daily News, how they totally identified a sexual abuse victim in their original reporting of this instance, and you know they totally did not. They didn't contact me to get any information on this when I call them up to offer it up. They didn't contact the 8-year-old victim's mom, who called them up to offer them up some info. They didn't contact her. They didn't want to talk to us. God, gotta love that Daily News and their accurate reporting. It's totally a thing that they're known for. God. So like and share and subscribe. This is Because Liberty with Curtis Hart. And you know, go ahead and go hug your kids if they're still up right now, because that's totally a thing that you should do. There's monsters in your neighborhood. I ain't trying to scare you or nothing, but you know, there's monsters in the neighborhood, and it seems like even when the sheriff's office knows that they're there, they don't want to go and get them. And the Daily News and even Fox News, dude, Fox was supposed to come and cover that protest. They told us they were going to come and cover that protest. Never showed up, dude. They just didn't show up because they went and called the good Minthorns. The guy from Fox said that he talked to the Minthorns, and then all of a sudden they don't want to talk to nobody. But this guy right here, you know, I got totally served this cool piece of paper. That's really sweet. You know, it's full of non-facts. It's full of non-facts, like the Daily News article was full of non-facts. Alternative facts. I think that's what they call them nowadays. Alternative facts. Like, I ain't gonna go ahead and say a lot of what's on this piece of paper, but like this sentence right here, that's a non-fact. An alternative fact. It's a lie. That's what I call it. Some things written on Daily News, alternative facts are lies, just not factually correct. So way to go. You very easily could have, called us up to make sure those facts were correct, or just, get a statement, or any of that kind of thing. At the very least, you did it next time. Please don't be going and feeling the need to identify a victim. Like, if you remember from the original video when I was straight up screaming at CCSO, there's a point in the video when, at the very end, when I make this really annoyed scream noise. And it was because I was stopping myself from identifying the victim, just like the Daily News just straight up did, except they typed it and then they had an editor okay that. And then they posted it on the internet. Okay, I was in a rant, and I was able to stop myself. What kind of class do you people have? I mean, I'm Curtis Hart. People kind of expect me to say and do, out there things because of, that's what I do. You are straight up legitimate media, and I'm having to tell you to not identify sexual assault victims. That should tell you guys a lot about the Daily News right there, and how much integrity they have. Especially when we call to complain to them about doing that, and they tell me that I'm the piece of trash. Okay. Once again, like, subscribe, and share. And be happy and be free.